I'm Mrs. Thompson. I teach 5th grade reading and writing, and I'm here to talk about books, which I love.
Every book has a place in who I am. Every book I've read, some more than others, and some going way back to why I love literature in the first place.
So I want to start with children's books. This is one of my favorites, The Day the Crayons Quit. I love the point of view that it's told by all the different crayons and how they're feeling neglected and how the main character uses them too much, too little. It's just a fun book. The kids love it. One of my favorites. I read it to both my boys and they loved it.
This one's by Julie Edwards, who, if you look really closely, which you may not be able to see, is Julie Andrews, the actress from The Sound of Music and lots of other things. So she wrote 2 children's books that I'm aware of, and then she wrote a couple with her older daughter, children's books. The 2 that I read when I was a little girl and went to my school library and fell in love with were The Last of the Really Great Whangdoodles, and it's all about the power of the imagination and A Wonderful New World, which I loved because I wanted to escape to places like this.
Moving on up, my next favorite is Out of My Mind. I have my 5th graders read this every summer, and it's not just a good young adult, young children book, but it's a great book for everybody. Such a good message of acceptance and perseverance.
Here's another really impactful book in my life called The Power of One by Bryce Courtney. And I recommend this to everyone, especially if you haven't read it when you get out of high school, read it before you go to college. It's a great coming-of-age story.
Some of my favorite adult books, and this is so bad, I had to print off copies because they're so popular that I've let my friends borrow them, so I don't have copies. But Big Little Lies, Leanne Moriarty, one of my favorite authors. She's written so many other good books. The Husband's Secret. This was a spin-off show on HBO called Big Little Lies. If you haven't watched it, it's awesome, but this book is so good. She is the best at writing books that have plot twists, which I love. You never see it coming.
The other big collection I have is cookbooks, or something that has books that have to do with food in some way, shape, or form. Part of that's because I was in the magazine business for a while, and I worked for 2 food magazines, so I collected a lot of books that had to do with food. And as a researcher, I used a lot of those books regularly, but I also like having them on my shelf because I always know where things are and I can just remember and go and pull it out. Books about food that tell story. This one is called Garlic and Sapphires. It's by Ruth Reichel, and I used to work for her at Gourmet. And at the end, there's a great scalloped potatoes. By the way, I make this every year at Thanksgiving.
Catherine Center, How to Walk Away, another one of my favorites. I've read several books by her, but this one really hit me. It was just a great book. Loved it. I'm currently reading Such a Fun Age, which Reese Witherspoon and I are buddies, so she called me and recommended me, this book. Just kidding. But this is her book. She has a book club, and this was one of her recommendations, Such a Fun Age. It is a great book. It touches on acceptance and race and how other people are perceived, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's kind of in a nutshell of the books that I'm reading, books that I love. I'm a huge believer in word of mouth. That's how you find out about good books, is just talk to people. So happy reading.